watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Good morning to you. Welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. This is Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. Just walked up to the podium a moment ago, giving an update right now about an overnight murder-suicide in the Highland City area of Lakeland. He's saying the suspect then drove himself to Lake Wales, where he was found dead, believed to have shot himself. Sheriff Judd giving the details about what we know about this incident. Let's go ahead and listen in live.
Deputies arrive in less than 5 minutes of the call for service. And when we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kinney, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse. We go into the bedroom and we see a 13-year-old child, a little girl. She shot twice. She shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out the top of her head. She is alive in critical condition, but stable at Lakeland Regional Health, and is alert and talking. That's a Christmas miracle. Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. He didn't, however, shoot his biological child, thank God, who was 1 year old and in a crib. He shot his stepdaughter. He didn't get a chance to shoot his stepson, who had run to dial 911. Jason then jumps into his vehicle and flees the scene just prior to deputies arriving. He is going toward Lake Wales. He calls his sister in upstate New York, and he says, "I've done something very, very bad. Very bad. I did something terrible. And this is the last time you'll ever talk to me. You'll see me on the news, but I am not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life." So he goes to his father's house, which apparently is currently in probate. His father's deceased, and there's a friend staying there. When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason. We set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased. I want you to think about this a minute. As the investigations unfolded during the night, and we're still in the preliminary stages, and as I always say when we talk soon, whatever we give you today is subject to modification. We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, "You know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again. This is not the way the family should be. You need God." Crystal, by the way, goes to church every Sunday. We don't know when she wrote the note. It's not dated, there's no time, there's no indication, but it was open. So did she write it, as they argued earlier in the evening, or had it been some period of time? We can't determine that. We also were able to talk to the 12-year-old, our Christmas miracle. She said, "I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me," and he shot me anyway. This is things that are never supposed to happen. And certainly we are all very, very happy that our little 13-year-old girl is, from every indication, going to survive and thrive. But the investigation's still underway. But this is a family disturbance that apparently had gone on for some time. We talked to another family member, and that family member said, oh, he's been beating on her for a while. So we've checked our records to see if we received any calls at the residence, and we have not. He has never been arrested for domestic violence. But bottom line is, 3 days before Christmas, he shot and killed his wife. He shot his 13-year-old stepdaughter twice and intended to kill her. Called his sister and confessed that he did something terrible, and then rather than be arrested, shot and killed himself. Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself after those horrible deeds. If he felt that way, he could have taken himself out and not hurt those two beautiful people. So it's sad anytime. It's horrific anytime. He had a chance. He could have gotten mental health help. We'd have done anything we could for him and the family in advance. But he just absolutely destroyed a family, literally, and the mental health of two children without their mama and an infant that will grow up without a mother and a father. 3 days before Christmas. Any questions?
You said the 12-year-old that's asked not to be shot at. Did you mean the 13-year-old?
I meant the 13-year-old. 12-year-old was the boy. The 13-year-old was the girl. The 13-year-old girl begged not to be shot. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. And he shot her twice anyway. The 12-year-old had fled out of the house, and the 12-year-old, heard the first gunshot as he was leaving.
Was it that neighbor that ended up being able to call 911?
He went to a neighbor's house, and 911 was dialed from the neighbor's house.
Is it the gun registered to him?
We don't know who the gun's registered to, and you don't have to register guns in Florida, so that we will do a background on the gun, but it's too early to determine ownership. But the reality is, in Florida, we don't register guns. So.
And I know you said he didn't have there hadn't been prior domestic violence related calls. Did he have any other, history of any?
No criminal history.
What happens to these children now?
Well, right now they're with the grandparents. DCF's call. DCF will take custody of them. They are placed right now with grandparents, and long term, the DCF and the grandparents will have to work that out, because, I understand that the 12-year-old boy and the 13-year-old girl who was shot, that their father is in California someplace, has never had any interaction with the children. That's the early information. And of course, the infants, mom and dad are deceased. So the entire family was destroyed. And I must tell you, our homicide detectives are distraught. When they go in there, there's a beautiful Christmas tree with lots of Christmas presents under the tree, just like the nuclear family should be. And so they said, we see this big, beautiful Christmas tree. We see the presents wrapped underneath the tree. We see the evidence of a wonderful Christmas about to occur in this house. She goes to church. She tells him, you need God. You're slipping into abuse of drugs and alcohol. And it ends up this way. And quite frankly, it's not surprising. Some women protect their husbands, and she never called on him. But apparently, he's been known for injuring her in the past.
What's your message, just especially since it's Christmas time, to other families? I mean, I know this is
Well,
the worst possible.
sure, my message to everyone is there's always help, free help. Dial 911 and say, I need help. Call any human services. We'll all provide help. None of this had to occur. There's no reason for this to occur. How does an argument over a television program end up with a murder, an attempted murder, and a suicide? That should never happen. So call for help. We have all kinds of services. We will come to you. We do house calls. We'll come to you and help you. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt a loved one.
Is there any belief that the letter could have been what started this argument?
Have no idea. Have no idea about the, we have no idea that whether or not she wrote the letter last night or this has been a build-up over time. That will be part of the investigation into the future. But it was there, and it was open for the detectives to see. It's not like we had to search it up in the house.
You said it was found on him?
No, it was found in the house.
And you said that this was in Highland City? Where specifically?
Yeah, we normally don't give the address of victims, and certainly we have victims that are still alive that potentially may live there. So, okay. Now that that's over, you all have a Merry Christmas, okay? But tell everybody there's help. So depression, we see depression go up, we see suicides go up, and all of this didn't have to happen, okay? God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd wrapping up a news conference with some heartbreaking details about this murder-suicide in Lakeland, where a man's accused of shooting and killing his wife, also accused of shooting his 13-year-old stepdaughter twice. They're calling it a Christmas miracle, but she is alive. She's in critical but stable condition, alert and talking at the hospital. Told investigators that she begged her stepfather, don't shoot me, but he shot her twice anyway. They also noted that the suspect's 1-year-old biological child was not shot, left alone in a crib. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old stepson had run out of the house to call 911 and try to get help. So a heartbreaking, terrible situation out of Polk County in Lakeland, where just days before Christmas this happened. And they talked about the inside the home there, a Christmas tree up, presents under the tree, and now this entire family just devastated. The surviving children, we're told, are with grandparents right now. But again, just a miracle that someone was able to survive this. But just a tragic and terrible situation there that we just heard about from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. Before we go to break here on Fox 35 News Plus, I also want to let you know some breaking news here from a former U.S. Senator and former president of the University of Florida, Ben Sasse, posting this on social media, announcing he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. This was his post on X just a little bit ago, and I'll kind of read it to you here, saying, "Friends, this is a tough note to write, but since a bunch of you have started to suspect something, I'll cut to the chase. Last week, I was diagnosed with metastasized stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and I'm gonna die. Advanced pancreatic is nasty stuff. It's a death sentence, but I already had a death sentence before last week, too. We all do." He goes into talking about some of the family dynamics, some of the things that they have been dealing with, and says that, talks about the difficulty of this and the difficulty of these times, and says, quotes some scripture there, going on to say, this isn't all he'll have to say on the matter. He'll go into it more in the future, but he says, "I'm not going down without a fight. Death and dying aren't the same. The process of dying is still something to be lived. For now, as our family faces the reality of treatments, more importantly, as we celebrate Christmas, we wish you peace." Again, this is Ben Sasse, a former U.S. Senator from Nebraska, a former president of the University of Florida, announcing he has been diagnosed with terminal cancer. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Another busy travel day for folks here across Florida and all across the country, really. We're now just 2 days before Christmas. A lot of people maybe already off work and hitting the highways, hitting the airports. Let me give you a live look right now. This is I-4 through Lake Mary here. You're looking at those westbound lanes. Looking pretty busy right now for 11 o'clock in the morning here as we approach midday. Eastbound moving a little smoother there, but we know a lot of folks expected to travel. You may be one of them, and if so, we wish you safe travels over these holidays. It's also a busy travel day at Orlando International Airport. Today expected to be one of the busiest days for travel. MCO actually expecting more than 3 million people over the course of a couple of weeks during this holiday travel period. Fox 35's Amanda Ruiz has more from the airport just a little bit ago.
Yes, it's expected to be really busy here at the airport because MCO is expecting 3.1 million people to walk in and out of this airport. Those are record-breaking numbers for MCO, and it's not surprising because AAA has named Orlando the #1 holiday destination in the country. Nationwide, AAA says more than 120 million Americans are expected to travel for the holidays. Most of them will be hitting the road, but around 8 million people will be boarding a flight. That's up 2.3% from this time last year. Here at MCO, the holiday rush is expected to last until January 5th. So travelers arrive a little earlier than normal just in case. We spoke to one family who made sure to do just that.
Expecting it to be pretty hectic today, so hopefully we're here early enough and we're able to miss all the most of it. We'll see.
And the #1 travel day is going to be January 3rd here at MCO, and then it's going to be followed by January 4th. During those 2 days, there's going to be 200,000 travelers going in and out of this airport, so expect it to be a busy one. We'll send it back to you in studio.
All right, so prepare for that. A lot of folks expected to travel. And we want to know, what are some of your family traditions and your favorite holiday traditions this time of year? Let us know. This is the Fox 35 Orlando Facebook page. Just drop us a line in the comments there. Let us know what your comments or what your favorite family traditions are, and we might read some of them coming up a little bit later here on Fox 35 News Plus and on Florida Live. So just go to Facebook, Fox 35 Orlando, and let us know what your favorite family traditions are. We would love to hear them and share them. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson joins me now, and Jess, our beautiful stretch of weather continuing for the holidays here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been so nice.
Yeah.
It's made my job very easy. And it's also hard to like go outside and be upset, I feel like. So if you have last minute plans, I did a lot of shopping yesterday, honestly, and I got, I think, most everything I needed done.
Good.
The lines were crazy long, but I'm like, it's fine. This is what you expect.
Right.
And when you
if
go
you've waited this long,
yes,
then that's what you get.
And this, as someone who does wait this long every year, I am fully aware that, you know what, I'm going to have to wait a little longer. But that's okay, and the weather has been so nice. I had the car windows down like yesterday afternoon. The sun was setting. I was like, gosh, we are so lucky.
Yes, it is.
It's so nice.
It is beautiful, and it looks like another beautiful day out there today.
Oh, totally. It's going to be another warm one. So our average high is 73. We're going to make it to 78 in Orlando today. Just picture perfect. And we're actually going to get even warmer than that in the next couple of days, which I'll talk more on in a moment. But we'll see a high today in Orlando, as I mentioned, 78. A couple of warmer spots will be Leesburg at 79 and even Bushnell at 80. If you're heading out and trying to enjoy some of the beaches, can't say I blame you. I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting in the water because it's probably going to be a little chilly. But we'll see temperatures at the beach in the mid-70s in Volusia, Flagler County. So that includes Palm Coast to Daytona Beach, New Smyrna, and then in Titusville, Cocoa Beach, and Melbourne, you'll see a high today of 77. So still really nice. Christmas Eve, this is how things are panning out for us. Warm, mostly sunny. I know we sound like a broken record, but that's truly what we're going to be expecting. It's going to be really nice. Any sort of plans you might have, whether that be leaving some cookies out for Santa. Maybe you can leave something out, like I wish we could leave like ice cream out for him almost, because it's going to be so warm. But hey, it's just going to be quite nice over the course of the next couple of days. If you want to bring your Christmas day plans outside, for example, maybe Christmas dinner outside on the patio, it's going to be great for that. Just beautiful. Temperatures again in the upper 70s. We'll see highs again right around 78 to 79 degrees, mostly sunny, not expecting any sort of rain. And if you're wondering if this is all going to come to an end, the answer is yes. We do finally have what looks to be a pretty big surge of cold air. It's going to be moving in sometime around the new year. It looks likely, and unfortunately, right around New Year's Eve and into New Year's Day is going to be when we expect some of the coldest air to arrive. So this bright shade of blue you see is the how much below normal we'll see temperatures go. And we could see them near the freezing mark. I would say at least overnight temperatures in the 40s, maybe 50s as well for some of our more warmer communities, say closer to Brevard County, but still our northernmost county, say Ocala, there's a very real chance we could see temperatures right around freezing. So again, that's going to be for next week, almost a week out or so. So we'll get you more exact numbers as we get closer to it. But upper 70s to near 80 degrees just about each and every day. Cool, but pleasant as we head into the overnight temperatures by the time you wake up in the morning hours, right around the upper 50s and low 60s. Monday is the only cool day. And they actually, the GDO anchors, it was Amy, Stephanie, and Danielle, were just making fun of me a little while ago because I was like, wow, guys, it's only going to be 70. And I was like, you know what? I needed that. I needed someone to check me because that's still not bad. But just by our standards, it's dramatic in terms of the shift.
Sometimes we do need a reality check,
yes,
I think. So that's a good point.
I will say, though, our temperatures in terms of highs will turn even colder than that. Like 50s and 60s is probably going to be closer to where we see, maybe closer towards, January 1st. So just bottom line, 2026 is going to start off a little chillier.
All right, we will brace for it.
Yes,
but enjoy our warm Christmas.
It's what we got to pay in terms of enjoying the warmth, right?
Yep. Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Jessica Dobson, thanks for joining us. Let's give you a live look right now at Entrin-Co Stadium, the future home of the Orlando Storm, getting ready to begin the new year in the United Football League, where they're going to be playing their games there. And today, UFL has announced their new head coach. It's going to be Anthony Beck, leaving the St. Louis Battlehawks, where he's been the coach for the past 3 seasons, and taken over the Orlando Storm. He is a Florida resident as well, so a lot of history here. A graduate of West Virginia University, played in the NFL, including some seasons with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So a successful career playing and as a college football analyst as well. But again, a Florida native. Going to be taking the helm of the new UFL team here in Orlando, the Storm. And want to let you know, we do expect to hear from Anthony coming up around 12:30, an introductory virtual news conference in about an hour that we will bring to you live right here on Fox 35 News Plus. Right now, we're going to take a quick break here on Fox Local and YouTube, but we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. A new surveillance footage giving us more of an idea into what happened in an alleged kidnapping in Edgewater. A woman accused of abducting her 2 children that she had been court-ordered to not have any contact with. Fox 35's Marley Capper has more and shows us that video.
Get right over to that video. You can see a blue SUV pull into the Sunco gas station. This is the security footage from there. You can see the woman get out of her car and then go to the car next to her. Let's continue to watch this video. A few seconds later, a child is seen climbing into the front seat of the blue SUV while the woman is holding another child in her arms. Once they're all inside the car, the woman takes off. Police say that woman is Emily St. Clair. She's accused of following her children's father without him knowing and breaking a DCF court order as she's not allowed to have any contact with the kids. They're okay and have been reunited with their father, but police say that St. Clair had a felony warrant for drug possession. Now, she did have her first court appearance yesterday. She was denied bond. At this time, she's going to be taken to the Volusia County Jail, and she's supposed to have a follow-up later this week. For now, reporting live, Marley Capper, Fox 35 News.
That was Marley earlier today showing us that video. We're also following up on a case out of Osceola County where a woman was arrested and accused of pushing a child underwater in a hotel pool. This is Tiffany Lee Griffith. She's 36 years old. She's now charged with aggravated child abuse for that incident that investigators say happened on Friday. Today there was a pretrial detention hearing, essentially determining whether or not she would have to stay behind bars, whether she'd be granted bond. A judge ended up granting her a $20,000 bond, and we did hear some testimony during that hearing earlier today. Here's what a deputy testified about what they learned happened, including seeing surveillance video or security camera video from the hotel.
And what are your duties with Osceola County Sheriff's Office?
I currently work at Patrol West, Sector 2. I take normal calls day to day, variety of calls. Verbal disturbances being one of them.
And was that your duty, was that your position on December 19th of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you get called out to a verbal disturbance at 6,000 at the Gaylord Palms in Kissimmee?
Gaylord Hotel. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the verbal disturbance, what did you do when you got on scene?
The original call came out as a verbal disturbance. We continued getting call notes, reference to updates. When we arrived on scene, I met with the assistant security manager, Leticia, and she advised it was a verbal disturbance, possibly a drowning, so they were still addressing it with the family they were with.
Okay. And who did you make contact with after the security personnel?
The first person that was made contact with was the mother, Diamela Chacon.
Okay, and when you say the mother, is that the mother of the victim, in this case, Elsie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how old is Elsie?
Elsie is 6 years old.
Okay. Now, when you spoke with Diamela, what did she advise?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Your Honor, hearsay is admissible in the pretrial detention hearing.
Mr. Cantor, anything else? I'm going to reiterate the hearsay objection. If they wanted to have the testimony of the mother, then the mother should be present to testify in front of the court, Your Honor.
Okay. As the rules of evidence do not apply in a pretrial detention hearing under the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, the objection is overruled. Go ahead, ma'am, you can answer.
Diamela Chacon advised her son, her child Elsie, came out of the pool running with blood coming out of his nose.
Okay. And did Diamela personally witness what happened with her son Elsie?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And when her son came out of the pool with the bloody nose, did she wipe it with anything?
Yes, they used multiple paper towels.
Okay. Now, after her son came running up to her with a bloody nose, did anybody else come running up to her?
Right after, we were advised that there was a female with a two-piece black bathing suit that came directly to them and started a verbal disturbance.
And was that female later identified as Tiffany Griffith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were photos taken of the bloody towel and the defendant after she ran up on Diamela?
Yes, ma'am. There were photos and then there were videos.
When Diamela came up, what did she say to Diamela?
She became argumentative, advising your child almost drowned my child.
May I approach the clerk?
You may.
Deputy, I'm showing you what's been previously marked as states composite A. Do you recognize these?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize them?
These were the paper towels used to clean, according to Diamela, and then this was a portion of the video as well who later on was confirmed was Tiffany, came up to them.
So this is a still shot of that video?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, statement and evidence has been previously marked as state's identification A as state's exhibit 1 composite.
Mr. Cantor?
No objection, Your Honor.
And what's been pre-marked for identification states composite exhibit alpha will be entered in evidence as states composite 1.
Deputy, when you were speaking to witnesses, did you also come into contact with himself?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was his demeanor when you made contact with him?
He was quiet. He wouldn't answer my questions.
Okay. Did you observe his nose bleeding at that time?
I did not.
Now, did you speak with any other witness on scene?
Yes, ma'am. I then spoke with the father.
Okay. And that's Michael Chacon?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Michael witness personally what happened?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you speak with any witness that witnessed personally what occurred in the pool?
Yes, there was a witness nearby.
Okay. Is he related in any way to the family of?
No, ma'am. He was just a guest.
Is that witness Chad Leon?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did Mr. Leon advise?
Mr. Leon approached the family, advising that he witnessed what was later confirmed as Tiffany having a calm demeanor going into the pool, approaching a group of juveniles, of minors, and splashing them with water. And then she went behind what was later confirmed was and placed both of her hands on his shoulders and submerged them in the water for a couple of seconds. He wasn't sure. He advised it was approximately 2 to 4 seconds, and then let go of him, proceeded to splash water before exiting the pool.
Now, were you able to obtain or watch any video of the incident itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how did you watch this video?
I watched it through the work cell of the assistant manager of security.
And was that video captured on your body camera?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach?
You may.
Your Honor, the state showed me the video. Candidly, I think the video is good for us, but regardless.
Is there any objection to it?
There is an objection based upon best evidence, Your Honor. Ultimately, it's a body cam recording a video on an iPhone that somebody took. It's not the actual video itself. It's the body cam recording of the iPhone that allegedly took the video. So based upon that, we would note our objection.
The objection is overruled. So what's been pre-marked for identification as States Exhibit C will be entered as States Exhibit number 2.
Now, the video that we just watched in States Exhibit 2, the person that entered the pool and was splashing the juveniles, was that later identified as a defendant in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And the child that was submerged underwater, was that later determined to be?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, during your investigation, did you have an opportunity to speak with the defendant?
With Miss Tiffany, yes, ma'am.
And did you attempt to read her Miranda?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, and what happened when you did that?
She advised me that she can recite them for me because she was prior law enforcement.
Was she willing to speak with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what account of the story did she give you about the incident?
So on several occasions, I gave her the opportunity to come forth and just express everything, explain everything that occurred in that incident. She advised that she was in the pool, and I asked her, did you splash water on children? And she said yes. And then she grabbed her son and exited the pool.
At any time, did she advise that she put any child under water?
No, ma'am. We gave her multiple opportunities to explain in detail everything that occurred in that incident.
Now, as after Miss Griffith was arrested, did she make any statements?
Yes, ma'am. The only comment that she would make, she was protecting her son.
Was there at any time any video that you observed while Miss Griffith was in the pool that her son was being submerged in that water?
No, ma'am. And witness advised the same. There was just children playing in the pool.
And the hotel, the Gaylord Palms, in which this incident occurred, is that in Osceola County, Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any further questions at this time.
Mr. Cantor, in cross-examination.
Your Honor. Morning, Deputy.
Good morning, sir.
Deputy, during the course of your investigation, did you at any point become aware or told that immediately preceding the video that you just watched, that the alleged victim in the case repeatedly dunked Miss Griffith's child underwater and held Miss Griffith's child underwater?
No, sir.
And Deputy, during the course of your investigation, did you discover that Miss Griffith's child is severely disabled?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you describe a little bit of the disability that you became aware of?
She advised that he was autistic, somewhat nonverbal.
And about how old is that child that's somewhat nonverbal?
7 years old.
Okay. How long have you been a deputy?
A little over 2 years, sir.
Okay. In your investigation, did it make any sense that a woman would calmly wade into a pool where children were politely splashing each other and then hold a child underwater for a moment?
Could you repeat that question, sir?
In your investigation, did you become aware of, or can you as a deputy surmise as to why a woman would calmly wade into a hotel pool where children are nicely splashing each other and pick one child and dunk them underwater?
Objection, Your Honor, will cause for speculation.
Overruled. You can answer if you know.
No, sir.
And Deputy, I'm going to remind you that you're under oath. When you were discussing this case with another officer while the arrest was being made, did you tell another officer that this felt just like a regular dispute to you and shouldn't be an arrest, but that one of the parents was so adamant that my client be prosecuted that you felt you had to make the arrest?
No, sir.
That never happened?
No, sir.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
A testimony from a deputy there regarding that situation in Osceola County. Again, $20,000 bond for that woman who is now facing charges in that incident. We're going to step aside and take a quick break right now here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. There's been a lot of confusion over this new license plate law that is going into effect across the state of Florida, looking at those license plate frames. We have done a number of interviews and stories about it to try to clarify some of that confusion, but we have learned that there is a wide range of understandings of that law, and that resulted in what is now being called an invalid arrest over that. Someone who was arrested for this, and a Central Florida police agency apologizing now for that arrest. But again, this is the law that says that certain things cannot be covered on your license plate, including that tag number, a registration sticker, and state. So those are the main things that can't be blocked off by license plate frames. And Fox 35's Marley Capper has more.
Well, there's been some confusion with the new law, so we want to make sure that things are cleared up here. First of all, let's take a look at what is an approved license plate. As you can see, the numbers here are clearly seen, and you can see the registration number and, of course, the tag there. This is what looks okay. So frames are not illegal. You can have frames, and it is okay if some of the non-important information like the Sunshine State isn't being shown. That's the key difference here that we really want to make sure people know. Before you hit the road, check your license plate to make sure that you are okay. That way you don't get a ticket or a fine. So again, as long as the tag number, registration sticker, and state are clearly visible, the top part can be covered as long as the yellow sticker is visible, and as long as law enforcement can identify the state. Information on the bottom of the plate, like the wording Sunshine State, is okay to be covered. It's not considered primary information. Now, if you have any parts covered, like we mentioned, you could face up to a $500 fine or 60 days in jail. So make sure to stay with Fox 35. Coming up at the 407 later this afternoon, we're going to have an expert on and walk us through what is and what isn't okay.
Yeah, so you'll be able to stay tuned for that interview coming up a little bit later on the 407, where they are going to walk us through and let us know, because there have been just a lot of questions about this, and clearly still are a lot of questions about this. And as we talked previously with FHP, they said the main thing they're looking for are things that intentionally obscure license plate numbers for whatever reason. But the law is clear about the license plate frames as well, and it can't cover very specific things. So we'll get into that more coming up a little bit later today. We are also continuing to track the investigation into the death of Anna Kepner, a Titusville teenager found dead on board a cruise ship last month, and new text messages that were part of court documents in a custody dispute are now shedding some more light on how the family reacted and shared the news of Kepner's death, and also talked about conversations with the 16-year-old stepbrother who is the suspect in this case. Fox 35's Esther Bauer has more. Very clearly having some issues with that file of the story of the Anna Kepner texts, and so we'll try to get that for you coming up in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to bring that file back in a different way here, and we'll try to get that clarified for you. Some interesting text messages there again. So we're going to take a quick break here, but I'll be right back, and we'll play that story for you. So keep it here on Fox Local and YouTube. We've got much more to come.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Garrett Weimer here, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. I want to bring you that story now of these text messages from Chantel Kepner, who is the stepmother of Anna Kepner, and her ex-husband, who is the father of the suspect in Anna Kepner's death. Fox 35's Esther Bauer, we had her on yesterday to break some of those down for us. Here's what we know about these. This was her story yesterday evening.
The new text messages that were just released really don't talk about Anna at all. The ex-couple is talking more so about the stepbrother, making sure he knows he is loved and doing what they can to keep this entire situation under wraps. This comes after the stepbrother is still the only known alleged suspect in this case. Anna Kepner was allegedly found stuffed under a bed on the Carnival Horizon on November 7th, and she was declared dead by the ME in South Florida at 11:17 that same day. A day later, texts from Anna's stepmom started going to her ex. According to these new documents, Chantel Kepner texted her ex-husband at 7:30 in the evening, "I need you to call me ASAP. It's an emergency." Thomas Hudson then tells Chantel he would come and get their youngest child to get him away from everything. Chantel says no because that would traumatize her. She says all she told her was that the stepbrother was having a hard time coping with losing Anna, so he's getting checked out by the hospital.
My spidey senses went up, Esther, and I on a number of reasons.
A retired detective says it's concerning to see what the family was talking about the day after Anna's death.
You have a dead 18-year-old family member, and they're more worried about PR and optics and protecting family members.
On November 9th, the ex-couple is texting again. Chantel tells Thomas about the short interaction she had with Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother in the hospital. She says, "I was able to talk to him last night for under 2 minutes briefly. He just keeps repeating over and over he can't remember anything. I don't even know if they were allowed to let me talk to him or not, but the nurse was very nice and let me talk to him just to tell him that you and I love him." Thomas replies, "I just want him to know that he isn't dead to everyone. Regardless of everything at the moment, he needs his parents. I know you know that. I just would like to have a chance to talk to him as soon as possible." She responds, "We, Chris, me, and his parents, told him that yesterday before they took him. We told him no matter what, you and us are with him. He isn't alone."
They did kind of damage control in their own PR department. I'm going to say 100% they know more than what they're telling us. We're going to protect you. We're going to keep you out of the light. Let's stay off of social media.
That was the next focus for the family, keeping the stepbrother out of the spotlight. In these court documents, you can see Thomas texted Chantel, "Okay, I know everything is supposed to be hush-hush for now, but I've seen that it is still getting out with posts and comments between Facebook, TikTok, and stuff. I just want to make sure until things are certain that he doesn't get any unnecessary comments towards him." Chantel says he's a minor and no one knows anything about him. She also said she would talk to the FBI again, and we will reiterate we do not want his name out there, and everything that's been posted on TikTok and social media, nobody knows anything and everybody's just speculating. We know what I told you last night, and we'll know exactly more when the autopsy is done. Once we get the autopsy today, depending on what it says, depend on whether he's booked on those charges. And keep in mind, these text messages were just released, but they were sent back in November. Since then, the ME has not publicly released a cause of death for Anna. The FBI has said nothing about this case and any potential charges. And every time the family has been here at the courthouse, I've asked them questions about what happened, and they are still staying silent. Reporting in Viera, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
As Fox 35's Esther Bauer, and we are still continuing to look into this. There will be more court hearings ahead in that child custody dispute that's been going on in Brevard County Family Court. So we will keep an eye out for that. Shifting gears here, and we are talking about the holiday season. We know it is a busy time of year, a time with a lot of stress for a lot of families for a lot of different reasons, and especially for mothers who face struggles and stresses all the time, but additional pressures this year or this time of year when we're talking about the holidays. Parenting expert Connie Albers was on Good Day Orlando this morning to break down the top 5 struggles that moms are facing and how they can work to address some of those and some ways that might help them cope this time of year.
So we have the top 5 struggles that moms deal with generally, and the number one thing is emotional exhaustion and burnout. And that is so true. And sometimes it doesn't hit until December 26th, right?
And oh my goodness, that's so true. We don't want the wheels on the bus to fall off, but it's the number one thing, and it's been trending for quite a while. And there was the Journal of American Medicine that produced a report that said 63% of moms feel like their mental health is fair or poor. And I think we can do better.
Absolutely, we can. What can we do to sort of get ourselves in a better mindset?
Set boundaries. You know, the big thing is we're just a couple days away from the holiday. So let's tackle that, right? And the important part of that is set those expectations. And the important part for you and I to remember is good enough is good enough. Yeah. We're not going to get everything done. We're not going to have the perfect table setting, or the packages aren't going to be just perfect. The dinner might flop a little bit. It may not be what you envisioned in your mind, but if you set one boundary and say, I'm sticking to this, you know, in my family, I've already set those boundaries. There's not going to be certain things happening at my house this year because I can't. I don't have the time, and I don't want to beat myself up and tell me how I'm not doing enough. So instead of asking the question, what more can I do? Let's say, is this good enough? What is good enough? What is okay? What will my kids remember? And what will I be at peace with? Because we can't get it all done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's not just setting the boundaries within yourself. You have to be vocal about the boundaries.
Absolutely.
Because I can tell you that at my house, I get a lot of, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do this? And it just adds to the mental stress of what you've already done.
Well, it's interesting that you said mental stress, because the second most important stressor is this mental load that we carry. It's an unseen, visible checklist. And we don't say anything, but we're moms, we just take it on. Your kids throw out this idea, and you're looking at your schedule and go, okay, well, between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., maybe I can do this. And y'all all know this is possible. But that mental load is very important, as well as the balance between work and family. You know that. At work, you're thinking about what you need to be doing at home. Right. At home, you're thinking about what you need to be accomplishing at work. And there's this tension. And Amy, we need to realize that our system, our entire system is not based on a caregiving mindset, whether it's caring for little ones or caring for elderly parents. And of course, society has changed, the cultural norms. What was once forced upon us is still there. It's amplified with social media. So going back to your first question of what can we do, set a boundary. Just one boundary. Yeah. Say to yourself, what is the truth? When my mind gets going and I start feeling like I'm not doing enough or I'm letting people down, my kids will be disappointed, I will sit there and say, Connie, what is the truth? What is the truth? What really matters? What task can I let go? And this is very important to your viewers. You don't have to take everything off. We're human beings, not human doings. And as a woman, one of the other top tasks is just we don't have self-care. You know, we pour out and we pour out. And Amy, we have to have time to pour into ourselves, because you can't pour from an empty pitcher. Yeah. So you need 5 to 10 minutes. I know when you have little ones, like I have the little grandbabies, I'm watching those mothers, they're poured out. They have 5 to 10 minutes. Read a book, go for a walk, have a journal, say a prayer, whatever is precious to you, 5 to 10 minutes a day to refresh your soul and renew your spirit. And then, of course, unfollow somebody. You know, these social influencers, Amy, what do? They make us compare ourselves. Yeah. Comparison robs us of joy and peace. So go through your phone. If that one person always makes you feel inferior, just unfollow them. They're not going to care. just unfollow them and see if that doesn't help with your peace and your mental attention span.
Well, and I love that you say that, because a lot of times what people put out there, right, is sort of this faux persona, right? They want to put out this persona of perfection.
Yeah.
And we all know that's not reality, but that's what we see.
Yeah, even those family Christmas cards, right, that they put out, they don't show you the 100 that didn't make it because somebody was crying and fussing or not smiling or turning away from the camera. They showed you that one that probably took a half a day to capture.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the kids were all mad, and because you're making them do this and you're threatening their life, you know, you're never going to play video games again if you don't smile for this picture. So we do have to remember that is not reality, but we compare ourselves to that. So when we tell ourselves the truth, that's not reality. I am good enough. I am doing enough. I am present for my children. I'm doing the best that I can at the job that I have right now in my season of life. Seasons of life for women matter greatly. And if I'm comparing my season to your season, I am setting myself up for failure. So moms can't do that. Look at what is right before you. Love the people that are right before you. And you're going to have to let some things go in certain seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And ask for help.
Oh, we're better at that.
Yeah.
But still, 70% of the household tasks, according to parent.com, 70% of those tasks are still carried by women. We need to write it down. We need to delegate it. We need to ask for help. 70% still a lot, so we've gotten better. It used to be like 85, 90%. But asking for help is not weakness, it's strength.
Amen. Yes, and a lot of times, especially with the kids, they like having a little responsibility. Give them something to do.
Well, they got to grow up, and how do they learn? In our home.
Yeah.
So some really good things to keep in mind for mothers and others at this time of year. We know it can be a lot of stresses and things to deal with, but sometimes it's the simple things. Sometimes you don't have to go all out. And like she said, prioritize some of those things. Don't be afraid to step back if you need to. Also, it is now noon here on this Tuesday afternoon, just 2 days before Christmas. And we want to know what some of your favorite holiday traditions are as part of your family. This is on Facebook, Fox 35 Orlando Facebook page. Let us know what some of your favorite traditions are. Just drop a comment there and let us know. We would love to hear it. We would love to be able to share it and talk about it here on Fox 35 News Plus. So let us know what your favorite holiday traditions are, and we will check in on this post coming up in a little bit and hopefully share some more of your stories and what makes the holidays special for you and your family. Right now, we are going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus. We'll be right back after this. And as we go to break, let me give you a live look at some of these cameras across the country and during this busy holiday period. Live look right now in Atlantic City, New Jersey. You see the Grinch around a Christmas tree there. We're taking a look at some of these cameras across the country. There's 6th Avenue outside the Fox News studios in New York. See the Christmas tree there. It looks like light rain falling and busy highways in Boston there. Let's give you a live look right now at some of our cameras and some of the views across the Sunshine State. There's Jacksonville Beach. You see people celebrating on the beach there. University of Florida in Gainesville, and these rotating cameras on what is a very special time of year here as we are now just 2 days before Christmas, and a busy time of year for a lot of people. Also a lot of events going on. And in Tampa, the police department there held a news conference just a little bit ago talking about how they are working to make sure everyone stays safe this holiday season, especially in the midst of big crowds at celebrations and events, a bowl game coming up with the ReliaQuest Bowl, and then just the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. So Tampa police talked about keeping folks safe there during this holiday season. Here's the police chief speaking at that news conference just a little bit ago.
With the Christmas holiday just a couple days away and the new year quickly approaching, our city will be roaring with excitement. The next couple of weeks, you can expect increased traffic, holiday spirit, and large crowds attending events. But our number one priority is keeping everyone safe. So whether you're driving to see family, attending a holiday celebration, or the upcoming ReliaQuest Bowl game, you can help yourself and us be safe on the road by not driving impaired. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Whether you're under the influence of alcohol or narcotics, no one should have to get that call that their loved one is severely injured or even dead. And I can tell you, unfortunately, our officers typically have to make that call during the holiday season. Always choose a sober designated driver or a ride share. One bad decision can change your life and someone else's life forever. It's not just driving under the influence that we're focused on, it's also aggressive driving. Practice safe driving. So no tailgating, no brake checking, and watch the speeding. Aggressive driving can lead to unnecessary crashes and injuries. So be polite to others, don't engage, and be mindful of yourself. Drive like your life depends on it, because it does. If you believe you're in danger, or you believe other driver is trying to start an altercation, call 911. Remember to try to provide dispatchers with as much information as possible about the other driver and the vehicle. You can also always submit reports of aggressive driving with as much information online through our online portal through the Tampa Connect program. Before we welcome the new year, we'll be welcoming 2 football teams and their fans to our city for the ReliaQuest Bowl. Whether you're attending the game, the parade, or other events, including possibly watching the game outside, be sure to plan ahead. Expect road closures and detours, both in downtown and around Raymond James Stadium. One thing we want you to be mindful of also is QR code fraud, especially when parking. This type of crime is not uncommon in pay-to-park lots. While QR codes are not used within the city of Tampa for their lots, they are sometimes used for private lots. Protect yourself before you scan by looking for oddly placed QR codes and checking that the URL pops up correctly and is typo-free. When in doubt, pay the safe way by manually entering the URL and only downloading the app via your phone's app store. Most importantly, no matter where you decide to celebrate the holiday, we will have extra officers, including those on horseback or assigned to one of our specialty squads, like our DUI unit, our motor officers, our bike officers. Our officers will be throughout the city, keeping everyone safe. They may not even be visible, because we will have officers in plain clothes and undercover. But we still need your help. So if you see someone or something suspicious, be sure to say something so we can do something. Call 911, call our non-emergency number at 813-231-6130, or find the nearest officer and let them know. We truly care about your safety, not just over the holidays, but all year round. And we are looking to maintaining that next year and throughout. Remember that safety is a shared responsibility. Thank you for doing your part in helping us keep Tampa safer together. Any questions? Well, first of all, celebratory gunfire. A bullet goes up, it comes down. Where it lands, I mean, obviously that could land on a loved one or someone else. So we can't have that at all. And again, we're going to have extra officers out here. I even have detectives coming out in the evening on New Year's Eve. So we will be out, but we need everybody to do their part and help keeping everyone safe. Don't hesitate on reporting anything suspicious so we can do something. My message to parents would be do your part. Know what your kids are doing, what the kids are doing, and paying attention. We will be out here. The last thing you want is your kid to end up in jail. So pay attention to what your kids are doing and help us try to prevent that from happening.
How important is safety to the entire aura that downtown has created over the last year?
It's paramount, and that's why we're here today. We want the public to know what we're doing to help keep safe and what we need you to do to help us keep everything safe. Absolutely. Well, first of all, at the malls, you know, there's last minute shopping. If you're in a hurry, don't forget to cover your valuables and lock your car. And again, for road rage, take your time. Take a deep breath. Be patient, be calm. And obviously call us if something's about to happen.
Where does the driving around fitting into your safety plan? Obviously there are big crowds, but people go visit family, they drive around the state, they drive to South Florida, they go to work. How do you kind of staff those during these days?
Well, obviously we're in the city. If somebody's traveling on the interstate, that's typically the Florida Highway Patrol. And I know that they're doing an aggressive driving campaign as well as the Sheriff's Office. So it's not just in the city of Tampa. Law enforcement is working collectively to ensure everyone's safety. Yeah, we do. We have a good barricade barrier plan that we will be using for all of our events. Well, obviously my goal as a chief is to have no violent crime. One victim is too many victims, but we are proud to say that we are seeing a significant decline in violent crime this year.
Tampa Police Chief earlier today talking about making sure folks stay safe over the holiday season. We're going to take a quick break right now here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. What is the future of horse racing here in the Sunshine State? A new study looks at the future of thoroughbred racing and breeding in Florida. It's a $3 billion industry with 33,000 jobs across the state. We know what it means in Ocala. But there are a lot of discussions and debate, including in Tallahassee, about the future, what it might look like. The Thoroughbred Racing Initiative is a group that is looking into this, and they just conducted a feasibility study to look at some potential changes to the sport and some ways to make sure it remains viable going into the future, because experts believe the industry may be at an inflection point right now. Just a little bit ago, I had the chance to sit down with Damon Thayer, who is a Thoroughbred Racing Initiative senior advisor, who took us through the findings of the study and where the industry goes from here.
Well, Florida is one of the top racing and breeding states in North America. Additionally, about 80% of all the yearling racehorses produced on our continent end up in Ocala for their early training, their pre-training, and in preparation before they're dispersed across the country to their racehorse trainers when they go to various tracks. So it has a huge input into Florida's economy, over 33,000 jobs, $3.2 billion in annual economic impact. And those of us at the Thoroughbred Racing Initiative are working hard to preserve Florida's horse racing tradition and heritage.
And part of that, as the study found, may be some sort of recalibration of racing in Florida. Can you kind of walk us through some of that?
Well, right now, our main goal is to defeat the decoupling bill that's being offered in Tallahassee. We were able to defeat the bill earlier this year in the 2025 session. And if Gulfstream Park plans to bring it back in 2026, our coalition is going to be working overtime to defeat that bill one more time, because it would spell the end of horse racing at Gulfstream Park down in Hallandale Beach. So we really want to see racing continue at Gulfstream Park, but we did recently conduct a feasibility study looking into all the options for horse racing down there in the Sunshine State.
Let's talk about decoupling for a minute here, and just to kind of lay out your concerns and why the Thoroughbred Racing Initiative has been working so hard to defeat that.
Well, the act of coupling is horse racing and gaming working together in a partnership. And 20 years ago, the Florida legislature passed a bill allowing slot machines to be operated at Gulfstream Park in Hallandale Beach. Then it was approved in a local referendum in Broward County, along with approval from the Florida Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association. So you've got three things that were done 20 years ago to help protect horse racing in Florida. Now, the owners of Gulfstream Park are trying to decouple horse racing from gaming. Basically, they just want to operate a casino on that site. And that's not the deal. That's not the deal that the Florida legislature agreed to. That's not the deal that Broward County citizens agreed to. And that's not the deal that the horsemen who put on the show every day at Gulfstream Park agreed to 20 years ago. So we were fortunately able to defeat that bill last year, and we're ready to do it again, because that's an important partnership for horse racing and gaming to work together for the benefit of both down at Gulfstream Park.
One of the things the study looked at, as you mentioned, was potentially consolidating or concentrating efforts at a single racing site in Florida. What would that look like?
Well, there are multiple options. Obviously, we want to see racing continue at Gulfstream Park, as well as at Tampa Bay Downs in Oldsmar. That track is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, and it's personally one of my favorite tracks in North America. My grandfather used to take me there when I was a kid. So we want to preserve racing at both those tracks, but we're looking at other options. And for example, one of the things we could see is a track in Ocala. Ocala is one of the greatest horse racing cities in North America, has a great heritage and impact on our economy. And we could certainly see the potential of a new track, being built in Ocala, or there's a training track currently in use at Ocala Breeder Sales Company. They have a 1 mile synthetic track there. They have a grandstand. They have parimutuel capabilities because they run off-track simulcasting there. That could also be a location for a track to become a part of the Florida horse racing circuit. But we want to preserve racing at Tampa Bay Downs and Gulfstream Park. But we have to look at other alternatives as well as we try to build a long-term future for horse racing in Florida.
Let's talk about that and the future of this industry in Florida, because we know there have been a lot of, for lack of a better term, obituaries written for the sport, not just here, but across the country in a lot of ways because of some of the issues that have been, have gotten a lot of attention over the past few years when it comes to the sport and the industry. Why is it so important to kind of look at the future of this industry here in Florida and kind of look at ways to keep it healthy going forward?
Well, horse racing is going through a lot of changes, like a lot of sports are right now. And there are actually really good metrics. I mean, more people watched and bet on the Kentucky Derby this year than ever before. The ratings on NBC were really off the charts. And it's an important part of our culture, our agriculture economy in Florida, as well as the tourism that it brings, the folks it brings. I mean, I went out to Tampa Bay Downs last year. Great crowd just on a Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. I think it brings a lot of tourism to Florida, and obviously that's one of the top industries in Florida. But again, I go back to the numbers: 33,000 jobs, $3.2 billion in annual economic impact. It's worth preserving. It's worth saving. Horse racing is the greatest game played outdoors, in my opinion. And Florida is one of the best places on the continent to do it because of the great weather you have down there.
Yeah, that is certainly something that is working in its favor. So what are the takeaways? What do you want people to know and to take away from this report, from the study, and from this conversation right now?
Well, I want people to know that the Thoroughbred Racing Initiative and our coalition of owners, breeders, and horsemen and vanning companies and veterinary clinics and sales company, we're working hard to preserve the future of racing in Florida. We want to try to preserve racing at Gulfstream Park and at Tampa Bay Downs, but our feasibility study shows that there are other opportunities out there and that a new track in Ocala could be a part of the mix. I want people to also know that horse racing is an important part of Florida's cultural, economic, and tourism heritage, and it's a big driver of the economy down there, and we want to make sure that we help preserve it. Florida is one of the best places in the world to raise a future racehorse. And we want to make sure that those dollars keep flowing through the economy in the Sunshine State.
Is it a positive outlook for the industry here in Florida, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a blue sky ahead. I'm coming to you from Georgetown, Kentucky, where it's gray and dreary today. And I bet the weather's a lot better down there in Florida near your studios in Orlando, Garrett. On a day like this, I know why you moved from Kentucky to Florida. But to use a weather analogy, I think there's blue sky ahead. I think the reports of our death are premature, and we've got a lot of great things in the future. And we've got a great coalition of owners, trainers, breeders, sales companies, horse industry participants who are united to defeat this decoupling bill and move forward to a new and brighter future for horse racing in the state of Florida. 70
degrees and sunny right now down here, Damon. Come on down.
I'm headed that way very soon.
All right. Damon Thayer, Senior Advisor for the Thoroughbred Racing Initiative. Appreciate your time today, and thanks for joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Thanks, and Merry Christmas, Garrett.
Merry Christmas to you. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Want to let you know we are standing by for a news conference any minute now where we expect to hear from the new head coach of the Orlando Storm. That's the incoming new United Football League UFL team that's going to be playing its home games starting this spring at Inter&Co Stadium in Orlando. We learned today that Anthony Beck, a Florida native, has been hired as the new Storm head coach. He's previously been the head coach of the St. Louis UFL team, the Battlehawks, but coming home to Florida and going to be coaching that team. And again, we expect that news conference to begin any minute now, around 12:30, and we will bring that to you live when it does begin. So exciting things ahead as that team continues to work toward its season opener coming up this spring. Well, we are just 2 days away from Christmas, and we know one of the popular gifts this year is expected to be e-bikes. We have talked a lot about e-bikes and the different issues that communities across the state of Florida are dealing with when it comes to those and safety and a number of questions about those. And doctors also have some concerns about the safety of those. And so they are recommending that if you are a parent getting a child an e-bike, that you make sure they learn proper safety protocols for using and riding those e-bikes ahead of the holiday season. Dr. Gayatri Kapoor was on Good Day Orlando this morning to talk about what people and what parents need to know and keep in mind.
Well, listen, Santa has been busy putting together a lot of e-bikes and other things that these kids want to enjoy, probably take them out on Christmas Day. But there are some safety concerns, especially that doctors have. What do you want parents to know?
I think the biggest thing is making sure that we're aware of any laws that exist. So the biggest law here in Florida is making sure that all kids wear a helmet, especially under 18. It's actually illegal to not wear the helmet here. So making sure that we're wearing the helmet, also making sure that we're obeying like the speed limit signs. I know that those signs are mostly made for, cars and other motor vehicles, but it's also important that we obey these laws when using an e-bike.
What are some of the biggest injuries that you have seen since the e-bike craze has hit us?
Yeah, so the majority of injuries are, head injuries. So about a third of injuries that occur on e-bikes are on those without helmets. So I think that's the most important thing. We also see facial lacerations and skull fractures. So really, really important to protect that head.
Yeah, absolutely. When buying a helmet, Dr. Kapoor, some people think, oh, the more money I spend on the helmet, the better. But, we had that child who was hit on his way to school, and he was wearing a helmet he bought at Walmart.
Mm-hmm. So, there's different regulations that revolve around helmet usage as well, just like there are different classes of e-bikes. So making sure that we obey the safety regulations and get the most secure e-bike, even if that's a cheaper one from Walmart, or if it's a more expensive one, I don't think that matters.
What are some other safety reminders for kids riding any type of electric toy? The hoverboards are still popular. There's some other things, but, there's battery issues. There's so many different things you have to understand.
So the important thing with e-bikes is that the speed can actually be modified on some of these e-bikes, and kids are really, really smart these days and very tech savvy. So I think it's important that we monitor, especially as parents, how fast these e-bikes can go. There's different classes of e-bikes, class 1, 2, and 3. So each one of those with a different speed limit. So making sure that kids can really stay true to those limits.
Yeah, and parents have to have these discussions with their kids way before they ever go out onto the roads and just be aware, right, as you mentioned, of what their kids are doing when they're out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And also making sure that, in addition to gifting the e-bike itself, maybe gift some safety pads for the shoulders, for the knees, gift the helmet as well. And as soon as you gift the e-bike and the child wants to go out, maybe go out with them, teach them the safety rules, how to obey speed limit signs, the stop signs and everything.
All important things to keep in mind. You got to keep that head safe, that noggin safe. When you're riding those things, because you can travel at pretty fast speeds on them, as we have seen. So a lot of important things to keep in mind. Now let's look ahead to New Year's, because we know we are right in the middle of the holiday season here, and it's not just Christmas this week. We've got a lot of New Year's events coming up next week as well. No shortage of plans and things to do around Central Florida with New Year's coming up. But what about for families? If you have young kids, if you're looking to do something all together, what options do you have? Danny Meyering, Digital Content Director with the Orlando Date Night Guide and Orlando Parenting, was on Good Day Orlando today to break down some of those family-friendly options.
Happy early 2026.
Happy early. Oh, you almost scared me with that. So it's almost the new year, and it really is the time to start thinking about what do you want to do on New Year's Eve?
Absolutely. So if you have families, there are plenty of options, and I love the Noon Year's tradition that has started in recent years, where a lot of places do celebrations starting at like 11 a.m. They do a countdown at noon, and so you get to have that fun with the kids without having to keep them up till midnight. So
this is news to me, actually.
Oh, really?
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people, especially with young kids like me, where can we go for these New Year's traditions?
Absolutely. So one of our favorite spots is JoJo's Shake Bar, which is at Point Orlando. And what's great about this experience is it's essentially all-inclusive. So it's $38 per person, starts at 11 a.m. You get an entree, you get one of their big, huge shakes that has basically a dessert tray on top of it, or they have specialty hot chocolate, which also has crazy amounts of toppings as well. And they'll do a countdown, and so it's gorgeously decorated. So it's a lot of fun. Point Orlando has lots of other stuff to do as well, so you can always mosey on over to like Monkey Joe's or Main Event, Activate. I mean, there's tons of places there, so it's a great option.
That's brilliant. You always have the inside scoop. Is there another option, too, for families that you would suggest?
Absolutely. So there is Summer on Skateway, more locally in Castleberry. And so they have a party starting at, I believe, 11 a.m. as well. They're going to do a ball or a balloon drop and have party tunes as you skate. And what I love about Summer on Skateway is they have like a little rink off to the side for kids that are getting to learn how to roller skate, so you don't have to worry about the big loop right there. So it makes it a little less intimidating. And I think it's 15.
All right, we can come back to that in just a little bit, because I do want to go ahead and get you to the news conference where we are about to see the introduction of the new head coach of the Orlando Storm, Anthony Becht. Let's go ahead and listen in as officials introduce the new Storm head coach.
From the rest of these guys on how engaging and how I'll be with you guys. I think it's vitally important. You guys are a key element to building a franchise from scratch. And I just want to thank all you guys for joining me throughout the last really 4 years. So thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to be a part of St. Louis with you guys. On the flip side, it's an exciting day. It's a new day. It's, listen, man, like, I wasn't sure, how I felt about this, but the more I think about it, man, this is just an incredible, really a landmark day for the UFL, for the Orlando area, for really the surrounding area of Florida. Football is something I'm passionate about. I remember 4 years ago when I was announced as the head coach of St. Louis, and I think everybody was like, "What is this? What is this hire? What will this mean?" And, nobody really knew. I knew, though. I knew it was going to be something great. And that's my goal for the Orlando Storm. We are going to build a team that will win. We're going to build a team that fans are going to want to come to see. And I think it's vitally important in a market, in a brand new market, that the team looks like and plays the part. And if they do that, the fans will show up. And I can't wait for that. And not just fans, but businesses, support, corporate, students, everyone in the surrounding area. And I have just, being in this area for 21 plus years, I've made that trip to Orlando hundreds of times with my family, Disney, Orlando Magic. I mean, just all kinds of things. And this is home. So I'm coming home. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to meet all of you, the new media that's tied into the Orlando market, the Tampa market, the Fort Myers market, all the different markets. I mean, this is a Florida